Welcome back to our channel, Soap Opera Aficionados. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the latest, most heart-stopping drama unfolding on The Bold and the Beautiful. Grab a comfortable seat and your favorite beverage because the explosive twists we are about to unpack will leave you completely breathless. Let's get right into the intense action. Ever since the catastrophic implosion of his relationship with Elektra Forrester, Will Spencer has been drowning in despair. The young Spencer heir, once brimming with confidence, has been utterly consumed by the dark shadows of his recent violent actions. The horrific memory of accidentally striking family patriarch Eric Forrester during a vicious brawl with R.J. Forrester at the Bikini Bar has haunted Will's every waking moment. Stripped of his dignity, banished from the Forrester family inner circle, and forced to watch the woman he loves walk away, Will sought refuge in a bottle. His descent into a severe drunken depression was rapid and terrifying, a tragic spectacle that left his fiercely protective mother, Katie Logan, paralyzed with fear. The relentless nights of heavy drinking have finally taken a devastating toll on his physical body. The breaking point arrives with a sudden, horrifying finality. Will Spencer, unable to process the crushing weight of his guilt and the profound loss of Elektra, collapses in a terrifying heap of agony. The young man's body, battered by weeks of relentless alcohol abuse and severe emotional trauma, simply gives out. The scene is one of absolute chaos and heartbreak as Will is found unresponsive, his skin pale and clammy, his breathing shallow and erratic. The sheer panic that grips Katie Logan in this agonizing moment is unimaginable. This is her beloved son, the boy she has fought so fiercely to protect from the toxic crossfire of the Spencer and Forrester corporate war. As the paramedics rush to the scene, Will is urgently transported to the emergency room, hovering precariously between life and death. At the hospital, the brilliant and pragmatic Dr. Lee Finnegan immediately takes charge of Will's critical case. The atmosphere in the intensive care unit is thick with unbearable tension as Lee runs a battery of urgent tests to determine the cause of Will's sudden collapse. When the grim results finally arrive, they deliver a catastrophic blow to the Spencer family. Dr. Lee Finnegan somberly informs Katie and Bill Spencer that their son is suffering from acute liver failure, a direct and devastating consequence of his recent unchecked binge drinking. Will's liver has completely shut down, plunging his body into a state of severe toxicity. The medical prognosis is terrifyingly bleak. Will requires an immediate, life-saving liver transplant to survive. The ticking clock becomes a deafening roar in Katie's ears. Without a single moment of hesitation, Katie Logan demands that Dr. Lee Finnegan run the necessary compatibility tests on her. Her maternal instinct, a fierce and unyielding force, overrides any sense of logic or self-preservation. Katie is absolutely determined to save her son, no matter the cost. When the initial medical evaluations reveal that Katie is indeed a compatible match for the liver transplant, a fleeting glimmer of hope pierces through the suffocating despair. However, this potential miracle is accompanied by a terrifying reality. Katie's medical history is fraught with severe, life-threatening complications. As a heart transplant recipient carrying the heart of her late brother, Storm Logan, Katie is in a highly precarious health category. Undergoing a major, invasive surgery poses an astronomical risk. The moment Bill Spencer comprehends the sheer magnitude of the risk Katie is willing to take, he erupts in a frantic, desperate panic. The formidable Dollar Bill, a man known for his ruthless corporate conquests and unshakable demeanor, is reduced to a terrified, pleading husband. He violently objects to the surgery, his voice cracking with raw, unfiltered emotion as he begs Katie to reconsider. Bill cannot fathom the unbearable agony of losing the love of his life, the woman he fought so relentlessly to win back. He argues vehemently that there must be another way, another donor, another medical miracle that doesn't require Katie to lay her life on the line. The thought of Katie dying on the operating table is a nightmare Bill refuses to accept, physically trying to block the medical preparations. Despite Bill's desperate pleas and agonizing tears, Katie remains resolute and unyielding. She looks deeply into her husband's terrified eyes and firmly declares that absolutely nothing in this world is more important than Will's survival. For Katie, the choice is not a choice at all, it is an undeniable maternal imperative. She reminds Bill of the profound, unconditional love they share for their son, a love that demands the ultimate sacrifice. Katie's fierce determination is a testament to the boundless depths of a mother's devotion. She is fully prepared to risk her own fragile heart to ensure that Will's beats on. The emotional confrontation between Bill and Katie in the sterile hospital room is a masterclass in heart-wrenching drama, solidifying her status as the ultimate matriarch willing to surrender her future. As the harrowing preparations for the high-stakes transplant surgery begin, an unexpected and deeply emotional arrival alters the dynamic in the hospital waiting room. Brooke Logan Forrester, having caught wind of the catastrophic medical emergency, rushes to the hospital. The recent history between Brooke and Katie has been fraught with bitter resentment and explosive anger. Ever since Hope Logan Spencer officially defected to Logan Creations, completely blindsiding Forrester Creations, the Logan sisterhood has been in ruins. Brooke had viciously confronted Katie, violently smashing a monitor in a fit of maternal rage, and officially disowned her sister. The agonizing betrayal had seemingly severed their familial bond forever, leaving a trail of shattered trust and deep-seated animosity in its wake. However, the terrifying sight of Katie preparing to lay down her life for Will instantly melts the icy fury that had consumed Brooke's heart. The petty squabbles of the fashion industry, the corporate espionage, and the bitter rivalries fade into absolute insignificance in the face of mortality. Brooke looks at her sister, seeing not a corporate rival, but the fragile, incredibly brave woman she has loved her entire life. The walls of resentment come crashing down as Brooke embraces Katie, tears streaming down their faces. This agonizing medical crisis becomes the catalyst for a profound, emotional reconciliation. As they stand together outside the operating room, waiting for a miracle to save their beloved Will, the Logan sisters find solace in their reunited bond, proving that the ties of blood are unbreakable. While the emotional reconciliation unfolds in the waiting room, the medical team, led by the meticulous Dr. Lee Finnegan, proceeds with the rigorous preoperative protocols. Every detail must be perfect. Every variable must be accounted for to ensure the highest possible chance of survival for both Katie and Will. Blood samples are drawn, cross-matching is verified, and a comprehensive genetic and hematological profile is compiled. It is during this routine, yet critical, phase of the medical preparations that a shocking, inexplicable anomaly is discovered. Dr. Lee, reviewing the detailed lab reports, notices a glaring discrepancy that stops her cold. The data on the screen reveals a truth so explosive, it threatens to detonate the very foundation of the Spencer family, contradicting decades of established history. The bombshell revelation hidden within the sterile lab reports is nothing short of catastrophic. The detailed blood typing and genetic markers indicate, with absolute medical certainty, that Will's blood type is fundamentally incompatible with Bill Spencer's. The genetic impossibility stares Dr. Lee in the face. Bill Spencer cannot possibly be Will's biological father. This shocking twist of fate, unearthed in the 11th hour of a life-or-death crisis, sends shockwaves through the hospital. The secret that Katie Logan has apparently kept buried deep within the darkest recesses of her past has finally clawed its way to the surface. The implications of this discovery are staggering, threatening to unravel the intricate tapestry of lies and deception that has quietly sustained the Spencer family illusion. Dr. Lee Finnegan, a woman bound by a strict ethical code and a commitment to medical truth, finds herself thrust into a devastating moral dilemma. She must disclose these critical medical findings to the family, not only for the sake of transparency, but because they could potentially impact future medical treatments and donor compatibilities. With a heavy heart and a profound sense of dread, Dr. Lee approaches Bill and Katie with the explosive lab results. The sterile, fluorescent-lit hospital corridor becomes the stage for a confrontation that will alter the course of their lives forever. Dr. Lee gently, yet firmly, explains the genetic impossibility, laying the undeniable medical facts bare before the devastated couple. The words hang in the air, a toxic cloud of betrayal and deceit that suffocates the remaining oxygen in the room. The realization hits Bill Spencer with the devastating force of a runaway freight train. The man who prides himself on absolute control, unyielding loyalty, and the sanctity of the Spencer bloodline is suddenly stripped of his reality. The son he has raised, loved, and fiercely protected, the boy he believed was the ultimate symbol of his enduring love for Katie, does not share his DNA. A profound, agonizing sense of betrayal washes over Bill, twisting his features into a mask of pure anguish and boiling rage. The foundation of his marriage, already fragile from recent disputes over how to handle Will's future, crumbles beneath his feet. Bill stares at Katie, his eyes searching for an explanation, a denial, a glimmer of hope that this is all a horrific medical error. But the terrified look in Katie's eyes confirms his darkest fears. For Katie, the revelation of this deeply buried secret is a waking nightmare. As she prepares to risk her life on the operating table, she is simultaneously forced to confront the devastating consequences of a past indiscretion she thought was erased forever. The sheer terror of the impending surgery is now compounded by the agonizing guilt of having deceived the man she loves for decades. Katie is trapped in a suffocating web of her own making, desperately trying to justify the unjustifiable while her son fights for his life in the adjacent room. She pleads with Bill, her voice trembling with raw desperation, begging him to understand, to forgive, to look past the biological reality and remember the years of love and devotion they shared raising Will. But the magnitude of the lie is simply too vast for Bill to brush aside. Amidst the explosive emotional fallout, the grim reality of Will's deteriorating condition demands immediate action. The medical crisis waits for no one, not even a shattered family grappling with a paternity bombshell. Dr. Lee Finnegan urgently informs them that the transplant surgery must commence immediately, regardless of the newly discovered biological truths. Katie, despite the devastating confrontation with Bill, remains steadfast in her determination to save Will. She is wheeled away toward the operating room, her frail heart carrying the unbearable weight of her son's failing health and her husband's shattered trust. The stakes have never been higher. Katie is not only fighting for her own survival and Will's life, but she is also desperately hoping that she will wake up to a world where her family can somehow be salvaged. Left alone in the desolate hospital waiting room, Bill Spencer faces an agonizing, soul-crushing choice. The anger and betrayal burn fiercely within him, urging him to walk away, to turn his back on the woman who deceived him and the boy who is not his own. The Spencer pride, a formidable and often destructive force, demands retribution and detachment. Yet, as he stares at the closed doors of the operating room, a profound internal battle rages. He remembers the countless memories, the laughter, the tears, the unwavering bond he forged with Will over the years. Biology may dictate genetics, but does it define a father's love? Bill is forced to confront the true meaning of family, grappling with the terrifying possibility that he might lose both Katie and Will in a single, tragic day. The internal conflict threatens to tear him apart. Inside the operating room, the brilliant surgical team fights a desperate battle to save Will's life. The acute liver failure has pushed his body to the absolute brink, making the transplant procedure incredibly complex and dangerous. The young man, oblivious to the shocking paternity revelation unfolding outside, is entirely dependent on the success of the surgery and the resilience of his mother's donated tissue. If Will survives, he will awaken to a reality completely fractured by the truth of his origins.